Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Football Palestine Extra, where we break down everything that has happened in the world of Palestinian football and put it to you in this nicely condensed video format. Before I begin, I want to thank all the premium subscribers that make this type of content possible. And I also want to kind of kindly suggest that if you aren't a premium subscriber, to upgrade now so you can see the entirety of this video, where we will be talking about three main things. One, a transfer window roundup, also covering some of the transfers that happened after the window in Europe closed that maybe didn't get as much attention. We will also speak about some Palestine eligible players, particularly Yusuf Saleh, who is a name that's on everybody's minds. And, I got a lot of pushback when I published an article about him saying he's Jordanian. Well, it turns out he's maybe not Jordanian now. He might be a citizen of some other countries when it comes to football. We'll also talk about how things are kind of looking good for Palestinian players at their clubs and how that might uh, kind of help the national team when they face Jordan on March 20th, and the juxtaposition of many Jordanian players not playing right now. And then, finally, we will wrap all that up with a sort of a look ahead as to what this squad in March is going to look like. So let's continue with a look at the transfer window and what happened um, over this past month. And the month got started off, I think, in the best way possible, with the news coming that Rami had signed for Al Merkhia, and he had signed to play every single meaningful game for them. So it wasn't a situation where they couldn't get the exemption. No, they had the exemption. He was going to play. He made his debut last week. He had a clean sheet. They got the 3 points. They're top of the league now. And this is just a great piece of news for the national team because Rami had gone more than a year without a club, and he's so key to everything that the national team does. And the fact that there aren't a lot of goalkeepers in the pool made it absolutely paramount that if Palestine were going to do anything in the remainder of World Cup qualifying, if they were going to do anything going forward, they needed Rami Hamadi fit and playing somewhere, anywhere. And I think El Merkhia has found a good spot because, if he shows what he can do for the rest of the season, chances are they'll finish first. They'll get promoted to the Qatar Stars League. It'll be a good deal for him because they'll most likely renew the contract with him. And he will have, I think, a nice career set up in Qatar for as long as he wants to play. So I think it was a really, really good landing spot for him. Right after that, we got the news that Milad Yermanini was signing for Al Wakra. We also sort of heard whispers that Mustafa Al would join him. That did happen. Both those players are with Al Wakra. They don't have the exemptions, though. So, and a lot of people will ask, especially in the case of Mustafa Al who was playing for Al Faisali, did it make sense for him to leave Al Faisali to go and play maybe only 2 matches before Palestine plays Jordan in March? Because he can only play in the Asian competition. We will kind of get back to that as to why it made sense when we kind of cover what our opponents in March have done in this period. And then we had some really interesting news. So Kharoub, Ade Kharoub, that is, and his brother Laith for that matter, they were in Malaysia, in Kelantan United. Ade Kharoub was the captain. He was, I think, statistically the second best midfielder in the league. The guy in the first position played for Johor, and Johor wins the league every single year. So really great statistics. We saw him develop as a player with the national team. And it seems like he got a better offer, a bigger offer to go to Libya, and he's going to be, he actually already is a teammate of Zayed Qunbars at Al Ahli Benghazi, and I think they will have stand a really, really good chance of lifting silverware this season. Also, around the same time, we heard that Omar Faraj, who had only just joined Zamalek, was actually going back to one of his old clubs, Degerfors, on loan. And a lot of people ask, well, what is this about? He only just got there. He's Like he didn't do that badly. He's limited playing time. He appeared in 4 games. He scored a goal. He won a penalty. And that's a decent return. And what I can tell you is, and this is another reason to subscribe, because sometimes I can't really publish information to a public audience, but I can share it amongst friends, and really my premium subscribers are friends. What I can tell you exclusively from having spoken to people close to the situation who know the club very well is that Zamalek wanted kind of an instant impact, the kind of impact that Wissam Abu Ali had with Al Ahli. And they wanted to kind of turn around and sell him. And they actually have not, the deal they agreed with AIK meant that they don't need to pay the transfer fee until the summer this year. And so what they wanted was a player kind of like Wissam Abu Ali, who's just your target man, poaches in the box, does the hold up play, scores a lot of goals if you give him service. And they thought, okay, we bring him in. He's obviously a player of quality. He'll score a boatload of goals for us. And then we can sell him in the summer for a profit and then pay whatever we owe AIK. Now, I think they quickly realized, and this kind of shows how Zamalek is run, that there isn't really a centralized decision-making process as opposed to their rivals Al Ahly. And they just didn't get the right type of player. Omar Faraj is a great player, but he's a player that thrives on combination play. So if he's gonna not really be the kind of guy that's gonna work in a 4-3-3 or 4-4-2, where he can play off of someone. Where there's a lot of combination play, where he can sort of pick and choose his spot on the field, drift, make late runs into the box. That's Omar Faraj's game, and we actually saw that this week. He scored twice in a friendly. It was his second debut for Degerfors, and he's back to doing what he does, and back to why he was so highly regarded in Sweden. It's just that Zamalek didn't really realize the type of player they were getting. They are a 4-3-3 type team, and he is not Wissam Abu Ali type player. And that meant his playing time was limited because he didn't really fit the system. And it also meant that the club was really under pressure to find a way to maximize his value, to pay AIK the money they owe them, and hopefully turn a tiny profit on the deal. So that was Omar Faraj. As we continued to the window, we got the confirmation that Musab al-Battat was signing for the Wakra. We then, over in Egypt, got the news that Musa Firawi had parted ways with National Bank of Egypt, is going to Ghazal al-Mahalla, is actually playing right now. So good news for the depth, right back. Not a lot of experienced options there. Obviously, Musab al-Battat has that position locked down as the captain. Musa Firawi was also always seen as sort of the future plan there. Good to see him playing, and playing at a really, really top league. As far as I'm concerned, in the Arab world, there are 5 big leagues, just like in Europe, there are 5 big leagues. And the 5 big leagues are Egypt and Morocco in Africa, and then over in Asia, Saudi Arabia, UAE, Qatar, in no particular order. So good to see Musa moving there. In the interim, around January 20th or so, we saw Yusuf Saleh and Asad al-Hamlawi both move. Neither players declared for Palestine, but interesting because they are part of a contingent of players that have been born between, let's say, 1998, 1999, and 2005 in Denmark and Sweden, who are all attackers, almost all exclusively attackers, eligible to play for Palestine, and are quite good players. If you think of just the sheer amount of talent there in that age group, you're talking about Ahmed Qasim, also has eligibility to play for Iraq. You're talking Kamil Jbara. You're talking about Dagam, who the fans love to speak about on social media, plays for RB Salzburg. Just a lot of good players. Tamir Bendi, who moved to West Brom, was close to moving to Celtic, but chose to move to West Brom on a €4 million deal. Lots of players there. So something to kind of keep our eye on as things move forward. We thought that we would close the window with 2 deals. And I was sort of asked, hey, do you expect any transfer activity at the deadline? I said, hey, I expect one, maybe two. And the one I was waiting on was Yasser Hamad, that is, to be officially unveiled as a Gharafi player. He was. He's the ninth Palestinian to play in Qatar, eight in the QSL, and then Rami Hamadi playing in the second division. But